Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning, Sheka, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to Saturday PD with Sheka and Tammy of Create and Educate LLC. If you are joining us for the first time, we want to just introduce ourselves as practitioners that offer professional development for leaders, for leadership teams, and for staffs. If you've been with us, we thank you for joining us again this morning. Principal Hurt gave us a mouthful this morning. He talked about what principals need to know about curriculum and instruction. And honestly, guys, his challenge to us to change the state of education for our Black kids needs to be accepted by all of us. That data was very, very disheartening. And I agree with Principal Hurd. That has to change. So thank you for that amazing session this morning, Principal Hart. We really appreciate you. Sheka and I, as I said, are practitioners, and between the two of us, we have more than 40 years of experience in education, and we've served both as teachers and as administrators, realizing that no matter what position we were ever serving in, collaboration has been the one thing that has ensured us success. We model this collaboration every Saturday through this Saturday PD because, as Principal Hurt said, we too have a passion for making sure that we are paying forward those things that are important for leaders to be able to navigate this education world that we're living in right now. And you just don't have to be forced to figure that out by yourselves. One of the things we know for sure is that it does not have to be lonely at the top. And we can just give you a testimony that through collaboration, Shika and I, and of course, this was along with our phenomenal school teams, were able to turn our schools around that were struggling and rated unsatisfactorily. Shika's school moved 2 report card grades in 1 year, and her school is a middle school. My elementary school moved 3 report card grades in a year. And we are really thankful for the opportunity to have had that experience to collaborate together. If you're interested in seeing more of that growth story, it actually was captured in a case study that was conducted by NWEA, and that case study is on our website. We'll share that website with you throughout our session today. We have collaborated with leaders across this country that have helped us to achieve the goals that we have experienced at our school. And as I said earlier, one of the things we want to do is to pay that forward so that everybody has the opportunity to see their goals actualized. And in all transparency, the reason that Shika and I ever even founded Create and Educate LLC is because we wanted to provide that space for collaboration. Some of the best PD we've ever experienced has come from practitioners who were right there in the field providing those experiences and sharing with us those things that were able to help us to move. If you visit our website, again, www.createandeducate.solutions, you can check out our book, Women Who Lead, and you can purchase that from our website. Another place where we model collaboration, which is at the core of our philosophies, is in that project because we were able to collaborate with women leaders who provide great leadership across this country. Shika and I are so super excited about a new partnership with two incredible thought leaders from Harvard University, Gil Nome and Elaine Lingway. They're authors of an amazing resource for educators called 10 Big Bets. Gil and Elaine have actually created a resource for educators that helps to navigate through this global pandemic that we're facing right now. And we're going to talk a lot more about that work and how we want to include each one of you in that work as well during our session today. As always, we have to take a second just to say how privileged we feel to be sandwiched between these two phenomenal men in the education arena, Principal Hurt and Principal Kafele. This Saturday PD Power Hour is growing me as a leader. I'm very thankful for this opportunity. And if you were with us last week, you know we talked about how leadership is so important and how leaders and teachers need to be supported. This week, we're going to continue our discussions on leadership because we recognize how important this topic is. But before we get started, Sheka and I committed to answering a question that Principal Kafele asked last week. Now, he probably was asking the question rhetorically, but we decided that it was imperative for us to answer. And Principal Kafele asked, who is supporting our leaders? Our answer, Principal Kafele, is you. So we wanted to thank you for taking us deeper and deeper each week. And we want to say thank you on behalf of all of the amazing leaders who roll with you every Saturday, just to say thank you. So please know that we all appreciate you very, very much. Right, Sheka? You ready to get started?
Definitely. Yes. Thank you, Tammy. And I ditto everything that Tammy said. Principal Kafele, Principal Hurt, all of these great people that we collaborate with. We definitely appreciate you because that support, just knowing that somebody understands what's happening right now in leadership, especially with everything that is going on, it matters.
Yes.
And it matters that you can, people are a text or a message or a phone call away. All of those things matter. So thank you, Principal
Yes.
Kafele.
Thank
And those of you that tune in each week, also Principal Hurt, we are very grateful for this
Yes.
network of collaboration.
Absolutely.
So as I was feeding through to our different groups that we try to spread this message to, talked about, we are continuing in the same frame. And it's funny how we don't discuss this beforehand, but we're all usually on one accord. Principal Hurt talked this morning about leadership, and we're continuing on our real framework with leadership. And one of the things that Principal Hurt talked about this morning was just basically leaders knowing how to make sure you're identifying those great teachers in your buildings and helping to continue that instructional leadership in your building. And all of that is so true. And what we are finding now, that the state that we're in education, things as far as the pool of people to choose from, the number of people going into education each year, those numbers are decreasing. So, as leaders, number one, we have to make sure that we're promoting the positive things that are happening in education, and just that we really need passionate people who really want to change the trajectory for our children. When we're investing in our children, we're investing into our community, we're investing into the world to continue to help make great people. So to try to help you think outside of the box, we just wanted to talk about some things that we've done to try to increase those pools of great people that you can choose from, as well as some things that we've read that people are doing across the country. One thing that I was able to do before I left my position at Chester at the middle level to proceed up to the district level, we had funding for extra staff members. And what I knew teachers needed right now more than anything, they need support. All of the things that we're asking them to do from the district level, from the leadership, from the state, it's a lot, especially when we're having to factor in all of the children that are absent because of quarantine. They have to go back and try to make up those assignments with students. They have to try to fill gaps for the students who, may have gotten behind in certain areas. So what I felt was needed, and what our team felt was needed for our school, was human capital. We need great people to work with our children. So I assigned a paraprofessional to each team to be able to help the teachers with all of these things that we're asking them to do right now, because we still have to educate, even though we're in the middle of the global pandemic. But I didn't just choose. And what I started noticing from people that I was interviewing, There's a lot of very qualified people who apply for paraprofessional positions. These people had doctorate degrees, they had bachelor's degrees. One of the ladies, and we were lacking a science position. I was like, wow, here is I can't find anyone to apply for this math position. It was actually a math position. Here is a lady who has a math degree. So, what I had to do as an educator was first recognize, wow, look at all of these people who are applying for these positions and they can actually be teachers. They didn't know that there's an alternative program to get into teaching. So, I had to educate them that, hey, we have a program to get into education. I'm going to help you through that process. What we'll do, we'll hire you on for this year for this position. But while you're working in this position, you're getting the feel for the school, for the students, you're learning the community. You're learning a lot of the different things, the systems that we have in place. While you're doing that, I'm going to help you get prepared to become a teacher. What tests that you need to take, get you your study materials to take that test. So when it is time for you to get certified next year, now I have a pool of 5 teachers or potential teachers who are now qualified for positions, because what Principal Hurt was talking about this morning, a lot of times at our schools of promise, there are turnover rates, and we have to make sure that we are still filling some of the positions where people are leaving with great, phenomenal people who see value in our students. And the good thing about a lot of these people that had applied, they're from the community. So when we start filling those positions with people who are already vested in the community, a lot of that attrition rate will start to decline as well. Tammy, you all have done some similar things, or you've heard of some similar things going on from people that we've read about, right?
Definitely. We have, for the past several years, actually invested in that support at the classroom level. So I've been able to have paraprofessionals in my pre-K through second grade classes. Through this year, we have them through first grade because we didn't have quite as much funding. But just like with what you guys have done, now I didn't have quite the pool that you had with folks that came in who already had degrees.
Mm-hmm.
But what we've been able to do is coach those people into programs where they're working on getting their teacher certifications so that they can eventually step into their own classrooms. But the support has been tremendous. And I think that what teachers feel sometimes when they have that extra set of hands in the classroom who can provide instruction, because that was another thing that was important to us. I've been investing in professional development for the paraprofessionals that we call our instructional assistants at our school, and each one of them have been trained in the use of the intervention system that we use at the school, so that everybody is able to provide high levels and very high quality intervention. Just like Principal Hurt was talking about this morning, going into the classroom, sometimes when visitors come, they don't know who is the teacher or who is the assistant in the classroom, because everybody's working with kids and providing high levels of intervention.
And I love that, Tammy. I love that you took your resources and focused them on the early grades, where those foundational skills are so important to be able to catch those students before they get to that third grade, where we have these read to succeed requirements, and we're having to put certain measures in place where, if the gaps aren't filled, we have to do certain things
Absolutely.
that are required by the state that we don't necessarily agree with, but
Right.
this is what the state is requiring us to do. So that focus on early, proactive interventions where you've placed your extra human capital in those early grades, I think that is phenomenal and commendable.
And it definitely is paying off. And any of the elementary principals that are on, we are happy to talk with you guys about that system, that because that's one of the things that when Principal Hurt talks about putting systems and protocols in place in the school, those are the kinds of things that we have to think about as we're making decisions about what is best for us and how best to use the funds that we have access to. The thing that was an issue for us in our school was because the foundation was not solid, we were creating so many gaps as the kids were moving up and matriculating to those tested grades. If we didn't stop that, we were not ever going to be able to experience any success. So what we're seeing now, and which is truly a benefit of having made those investments, is we're sending more kids up to the next grade ready. When you look at our first grade, second grade readiness, it's astronomical compared to what we've had before. So
And
I
that
think you're
that
right.
is awesome when we're talking about that chart that Principal Hurt filled up with the gaps between the different demographics. That is how we make those differences with children, the children that we're serving, especially in our schools and our communities. And he was specifically talking about African American students having those early interventions, early literacy focuses, programs, all of that makes a difference when we start as early as possible. So
Yes, yes.
that is awesome. And the fact that you invested in building those the people that you brought in, your instructional assistants,
Mhm.
through professional development. Because a lot of times when people think about professional development, they only think of it for their certified staff members. You have to make sure that your professional development is covering everyone that you are expecting to work with children and have an impact on them. So that is something that is very deeply embedded in our philosophy. And as Tammy stated, that's something that we can help you with at your school if you would like to do that. That's something that I do in my current position, where I'm helping to build the capacity of everyone that is working with our students, because we the state that we're in right now with some of the visits that I've made to the schools, everyone is almost like in a panic where you're trying to figure out what to do with the children that are there. You're trying to record videos for the children who are not there because they're on quarantine. So we've really got to make sure we're investing what we have in the right places so that we are not being counterproductive and not being able to close those gaps that we are all working on to really change.
And you know
So
what, Shika, I think another thing that's worth us just mentioning this morning, because
mhm.
I know you did it at your school and I've done it at mine, and I'm sure that administrators across the country have had to do the same thing
Mhm.
because of where we currently are. But in our schools, now is the time when it has to be all hands on deck. Like
All
everybody has
in.
to be involved in making sure that we're getting these gaps closed. My related arts team, who is a phenomenal team and actually are excited to get in there and help to provide interventions, are intervening because
Mhm.
again, we have so much that has happened and so many things that the kids just have unfortunately not been able to recover during this turbulent time that we've been in for this last year and a half. We need everybody. So building that capacity is really important for us all.
Definitely, Tammy. And we used that a lot last year with the related arts teachers, just helping. And like you said, they were happy to do it. It was not taking away from their class. It was something that they were able to help with outside of that, because another thing that we don't want to do is take away some of the things that we know the children really thrive and enjoy,
Mhm.
just to make in the name of fill in the gaps, and then
Yeah,
we start to overload them and they start to become
exactly.
unmotivated about school.
And I'm glad
So
you said that because we actually build it into our schedule. Like we build it into the related arts schedule so that they
mhm.
have time for interventions.
Right.
Mhm.
So those, when we're talking about leadership, these are the things that you really have to think through as a leader so that you're not counterproductive, so that you're not putting in things that are going to make your students unmotivated. You're not overwhelming your teachers to where they're leaving the profession, but you're making sure that they have all the necessary support to keep them there at your school, impacting your students in your community. And a lot of times when we're looking, sometimes I see districts do these searches where they're going, to several different places to find people. And a lot of times the jewels that you need are right there in your community. You just have to know how to engage them, how to get that messaging out about we have something in place that can help you become a certified teacher, and provide them with that support. In one state, I think a district called it their teaching fellow program, where they were hiring their own people that were their pool of substitute teachers. They were helping them to become qualified teachers or certified teachers. So there's so many different things that you can do in this vein, but we've got to start thinking outside of the box as districts, as leaders, of how to fill some of the shortages and also how to support our teachers so that teaching can still remain enjoyable. And as Tammy talked about, we've formed a new partnership with some great people. Dr. Gil Nome, who's an associate professor at Harvard University, and Elaine. They have written a book because a lot of leaders really haven't had a lot. We haven't gone through a global pandemic before, so there's no book to help us through this. They've actually written a guidebook that they've received a grant that they are offering to leaders, to schools, to educators for free. So just contact us. You can inbox us. You can send us and fill out the contact form on our website. They will also be presenting at our event that we're hosting on October the 5th. We're celebrating our 1 year of the collaborative network that we have, as well as our platform. So
So
that's
excited.
yes, I am too. October the 10th, there's an in-person option and a virtual option.
October
So,
5th, Sheka.
oh, what did I say? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
October the 5th is when we will be hosting that event. So I will put that information where you can register in the comments. We are getting out of Principal Kafele's way.
Yes, we are.
Thank you all so much for
Thanks,
joining
guys.
us this morning. And we hope that you gathered something from this. And our purpose is to be a help and to be collaborative. So thank you all for joining us, and hop over to Principal Kafele's page for more phenomenal Saturday PD. Thank
Yes,
you,
guys.
everyone.
Thanks, guys.